Sam, what if after all of this preparation, me as a candidate, I've been through all of this, I've looked at all of the questions, I've got a great idea for what the hiring manager might be looking for, but I'm given a question that just blindsides me. I haven't got a Scooby. What should I do?
Yeah, it's bound to happen at least once. It might even happen multiple times in the same interview. You never know. Um, Take a deep breath. It's not an opportunity to kind of just say, "Let me reel off something and let me give you a bullshitty answer that I think you want to hear." Just try and actually take a step back, break down the question, and think, "Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not. This isn't a situation that I've been in, but this is what I would do," and use it as an opportunity to lay out what you think you would do, because there's always going to be aspects of every role, and a good hiring manager will understand this, you've not done, and all that they want to see and all that they or I would care about is, as a hiring manager, is, are you able to break down the problem, are you able to justify why you would do certain things, and are you able to kind of round it off in a way that says, okay, maybe that's not 100% right, but I think over time I would iterate and fine tune and get to a better, more concrete methodology that is my own, and an opinion that is my own on that particular question. So, yeah, don't treat it as a chance to bullshit, because remember, you've got a finite amount of time with this person, and as soon as I sense someone's not trying to waste my time, but maybe is unintentionally wasting the time that we have, then that's quite a negative thing for me.
So it's a balance of, here's my answer based on experience and what I've previously done, so I can evidence me and what I've my experience, aligned with some forward thinking. This would be my behavior. This is how I would treat something if it came up.
Yeah, and anything you don't know the answer to is an opportunity to show that you can break down a problem. I think that's probably the best way to put it. It's an opportunity to say that you're not going to know everything, but you are going to give it a try, and that's a really positive thing to come out of a question that you don't know the answer to.
Sure. And then as a hiring manager, I know myself that when you have lined up your 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, candidates that you're going to interview, they sometimes go off in a different direction. They're not quite going where
Mm.
you want. So you need to adapt your approach. How do you use this framework to just take a bit of a course correction, say, well, we need to now start asking some slightly different questions of the candidates?
Yeah, I think there's two things that you could do, right? So one thing is, don't be afraid to maybe stop the question in its tracks and steer towards something that you're looking forward to. Looking for in a particular answer, or maybe you've not phrased the question in a way that the candidate naturally understands. So, I have in previous interviews said, let me rephrase the question slightly whilst the candidate's giving their answer, and it steers them back onto the right track, because ultimately I care about giving them the best opportunity to answer the question that I've asked them. But I think maybe if you're seeing a repeat pattern and you're getting the same things that are not going quite right with certain questions, you've got to, and a natural reaction might be to think, well, the candidates that are coming through aren't right for me. But actually, maybe the questions that I'm asking as the hiring manager aren't quite right. So it's a little bit of balance, and have that conversation with the people that are bringing you candidates and CVs, and work out, say, okay, I'm not getting so much of this. Maybe I should be asking the question in this way, or I should pick an entirely different entry point or angle for those the attributes that I'm trying to unsurface from that cheat sheet. And that's a great way that you could use it, is to say, okay, maybe here's 3 or 4 characteristics or traits that I'm looking for. I've asked these 3 questions, but they're not telling me what I need to know. Maybe I'll try question number 4 or question number 5, and that will give me a different entry point, but will still hopefully entice the same information that I need.
Sure. Sam, the asset you've left behind is incredible. I think it's going to be really, really useful both for candidates and hiring managers. But to wrap it up, what's one thing that a candidate should bear in mind? What's the most important thing that they should think about when they're going into a process?
Yeah, it's a really hard thing to put your finger on, because it can very much depend on the role. But the one thing that I was thinking about this a lot before we started talking was, the thing that ties it all together is, how genuine can you be, and how genuine are you during the process? And that touches every stage, right? It's, are you genuine with the people that you are meeting about the role? Do you actually, why do you want the role? Why do you care? Yeah, are you there because you want to get some interview practice in? Are you there because you genuinely considering a career change? Are you there because you're ready to take the next step? Be open, be communicative, and be genuine, and don't bullshit people, because it's not going to serve you in the long run. So that might be your genuine aspect with the recruitment process. And then an interview, again, it comes back to, I want to get a sense of who you are as a person. I don't want to hear how well you can reel off certain answers about certain things. I want to understand the person that I'm talking to, because if we're going to have a long-term working relationship, I need to fundamentally understand you as a person. And being genuine with with interviewers and people that are working with you at that process, inherently you're buying yourself quite a lot of capital quite quickly, because you're building trust, you're building a sense of understanding, and you're kind of ticking those things off very, very early, so that then you can focus on the things that really make you stand out as an individual, rather than trying to have to continually convince people that no, I am genuinely very excited, I am genuinely very enthusiastic. And the more you have to repeat those kind of stock phrases, the less genuine it becomes.
You're right. And as someone who's done hundreds, if not thousands of interviews, if you're a candidate, like, believe me, I know the minute you're starting to bullshit and when you're not being authentic, and you're just ruling yourself out. So don't even go there.
Yeah, and it's a really hard line to come back from as well. So I think just get what you want to say up front and be clear, and don't try and steer too far away from things you're not comfortable with, because that will only serve you poorly in the future and long-term relationships as well.